Ready? Bring him pretty hard. Ready? Got him, hook tag, dude. Yeah!
Nice!
Yeah!
Look at what it's on!
What's up, Yins guys? Welcome back to Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. Guys, in this video, I wanted to share a recent experience that I had on the water fishing with a local guide service up on Pymatuning Reservoir here in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, you guys know that I'm on a mission to learn as much as possible about local bodies of water and really the native species of fish here in the state of Pennsylvania. And the one fish that I've been targeting for the last year and a half, really full time, is the muskie, the muskellunge. So that's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to learn Pymatuning better, and I wanted to learn musky fishing Pymatuning a lot better. So I was able to hook up with Doug Vanasco from Banging Bottom Outfitters. Now, just a little background for you. I actually met Doug at Muskie Max in 2020. I had talked to him a little bit prior to that. And honestly, I knew right when I had talked to him, I really wanted to schedule a charter with him. I just didn't know when, and I didn't know when the timing was going to line up. But, you know, also talking to Doug and talking to Joel and talking to Jesse, you know, we kind of had this idea to do this video cast over the winter, get those guys on and really talk about Banging Bottom Outfitters just to kind of get you guys acclimated to them. You know, that conversation was really interesting, and I knew at Muskie Max I wanted to schedule a trip, but I really knew after that night that I wanted to schedule this trip. And honestly, I talked to Doug that night after we were done with the video cast, and I put this particular trip on the books. So what I thought I'd do in this particular video is give you guys a recap of that trip and just talk about Banging Bottom Outfitters a little bit. All right, guys, before we get started, I just want to send a huge thank you out to the entire Banging Bottom family. You know, Doug, Joel, Jesse, Adam, Dave, Jamie, Amy, everybody. Every single person in the Banging Bottom family, thank you guys so very much for your hospitality. Thanks for having me out to camp, and really, you know, for an awesome weekend on the water. You guys are the absolute best of people out there, and I am super excited to get back up there and do some more fishing with you guys. All right, guys, so the morning of the guide service, which was Friday, July 9th, we scheduled this trip because of the new moon. I love fishing on new moons for muskies. It's just something about that moon phase, and I've done really, really well the last year and a half on new moon. So we scheduled the trip for July 9th and 10th. The water temps were absolutely perfect. We were looking at like mid 70s to like maybe 76, 77 degrees. I mean, this was like prime conditions. You know, I was just like super excited about this. Looked at the weather on Thursday and realized we got a major cold front coming in Friday. So every time I fish, we get a major cold front or we get a major storm. It is what it is. You can't beat the weather. You just got to pick your days and you got to get out there on the water. So I roll up to Jesse's camp, and I roll up there, and I get out and I get to meet everybody. You know, I get my stuff in the boat. I'm super excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. And that day I was fishing with Doug, Jesse, and Adam. And let me just tell you guys this. Those guys worked their tails off for me on the boat that day on Friday. I mean, these guys are moving rods, they're switching baits constantly. They are working for fish. They are there to help you get an opportunity to hold a beautiful muskie. Bottom line, these guys are moving on the boat. They are working, they're switching out gear. I mean, it is really something to watch. You've got Doug driving, you got Jesse and Adam at the back, and they are just rocking and rolling. So I was feeling pretty good about the trip overall. I mean, I was just pumped to be out with these guys because I've been wanting to fish with them for so long. But, you know, with this cold front, just like anything, you know, we fished a long time on Friday, and we actually had one big bite. And, you know, that's kind of what I was looking for. I was hoping to get, you know, like a fish over 40, a mid-40s fish. You know, they're hard to come by, especially when you're out there doing it yourself. So I was really pumped when that clicker went off. I was like super pumped. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Adrenaline's pumping. You know, Jesse grabs the rod. It's just mass chaos, you guys. So here is that initial clip from the fish on Friday.
Going right there, Doug. Come on. Dude, we lost it.
Okay, so fish gets off. What are you gonna do? That's fishing. I will tell you guys this. I feel like after reviewing the footage, me losing that fish was completely my fault. I didn't have enough pressure on the rod, and I really wasn't working the fish. I mean, they have been short striking this year. That is a fact. A lot of people are losing a lot of fish. These fish are not necessarily committing to the bait. So it could have been the fish not getting good hooks. It could have been me. It could have been a combination. Bottom line, fish gets off. Part of fishing, man. You just got to keep grinding and keep going. So we fished the remainder of the day and not a single rip. That's the musky fishing I know and love. You know, and I'm right at home in this scenario. You know, I know what it takes to catch these fish. And I'm just, you know, I'm just out there for the opportunity. So I'm super pumped. I knew Joel was coming up to camp and he was going to fish with me and Doug on Saturday. So I was excited because I'd never fished with Joel. So, you know, bottom line is we get back to camp. I review the footage. You know, we're talking about it. Have a game plan, and everything's based on the wind. You know, you've got to pick your spots based on the wind. And, you know, it was kind of interesting to hear Doug talking to the guys, and they really, man, they act as a team. They work as a team to get this thing done. That's really special. You know, there are some guides that don't do that. And these guys are constantly communicating, and they're constantly looking for, you know, an edge and trying to help each other out. So that was a really interesting conversation, you know, to listen to. You know, we got back to camp, had a few drinks, had some good food. Just a great time on Friday night. I was just unbelievable. You know, I was just pumped to be able to do that. So that was Friday. So Saturday, I'm out front and I'm working on my cameras, trying to get everything ready. And Joel comes out of the house and he looks at me and he says, "I hope your camera's charged. You're gonna need them." That's what I want to hear. You know, that was after a really tough day of fishing in the cold. That's what I really wanted to hear. And, you know, it's just a confidence thing. And, you know, these guys know there's a certain level of confidence there. And Joel was joking around with me, but honestly, they have the experience to be able to do this. So bottom line is we get out on the water. We're on the water for about maybe an hour or so. Rod goes off, fish gets off. Again, the fish just didn't get good hooks. So, you know, we just keep grinding and grinding and grinding. Then all of a sudden, at some point in the afternoon, and keeping in mind the cold front, you know, that kind of moved out. Things kind of started to stabilize and normalize on Saturday afternoon. And then before you know it, it was like rip, rip, rip. And we will play the footage on this particular fish.
I knew it. I seen it. Come on, get up there. That's a better one. As soon as you looked at the screen, don't do that. Yeah, I said that. I seen it on the screen. I was like, there's a nice muskie.
Okay, guys, that was a good fish. Any musky angler that hears that clicker go off the way it did, any musky angler that could watch the reel as I was holding it, knows that that was a good fish. And again, I just don't feel like I kept enough pressure on the rod. And it was a combination of maybe not getting good hooks and maybe me just not putting enough pressure on the rod to keep that fish pinned. You can't give them any slack. If you do, they will get off. And honestly, this has been a battle for a lot of people this year. And, you know, I will say the one thing, like, again, looking at the footage, I kind of can see what I'm doing. But, you know, getting to this later on, Doug actually gave me some tips on the boat that basically helped me put one in the bag. So we kept fishing. We had a few good rips. I want to play some more footage for you guys, and hopefully you guys like these clips.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we've had a few rips, a few fish got off. You know, we're really working it, but they're getting action. You know, Doug has us on fish. Joel has us on fish. These fish are awake now. You know, we were on fish the day before, working the same areas. The fish just weren't eating. So, you know, confidence is going up. Confidence is going up. I really feel like we need to get one in the bag, though, and roll that clip.
Fish. Gotta come up.
Oh, stay down.
Work your way behind me. If you can't stay down, just because I won't get to that thing. Just work your way wherever it is. Just keep going. Get down. Get out of the way.
Left, right.
Yeah. Not a monster by any means, but Jesus.
We'll take it.
$9 per, same more. I just moved it to the board.
Hey, you remember what I said? You gotta wait it out.
Yeah, we did.
How long was that thing?
Like about 10 seconds after you said that. All right, guys, so we got, you know, a decent little muskie in the bag there. You know, that was a kind of a struggle and a battle, and we kept grinding, and, you know, Doug and Joel, confidence. It was all around. It was a special fish for me because, you know, every muskie is a special fish for me. Every muskie I catch, whether it's 20 inches or it's 45 inches, it doesn't matter. It's a special fish to me. So we kept grinding. We kept going. You know, we missed a lot of opportunities. We just had fish short striking, you know, a couple fish that got off. And then right at the end of the night, rod goes off. Let's roll that clip.
Just sitting there. Yeah. It really does look good in the sun, too. That's not a big one, but it counts. Red bar. Woo! Look at that little guy. Wow. Look how hot. Look at that red bar. Try T-boning that road.
You know, something interesting about this fish. Small fish, right? Maybe 22, 24 inches. I started thinking about this when I was on the boat, and I realized that Pymatuning was stocked not in 2021, but in 2020. And I started thinking about the schedule and the stocking and the spawning process. And I realized that that fish may have been from the year class that I was up witnessing Jared and his team at the Linesville hatchery, you know, spawn and really rear these fish. So, like, it was kind of interesting because I started thinking about it. So I sent Jared a message, and he confirmed that that fish was more than likely from the 2019 class, which I got to see spawned, you know, basically taking the egg out of the female muskie, taking the good juices out of the male. You know, they mix it all together, they fertilize it, they keep those eggs clean in those containers, and 74 days later, I was back up to help stock Conneaut Lake, and Jared took me in, and I actually got to see those muskie fry. So thinking about all this stuff and seeing that little guy in the net with a bait just absolutely dead center like this, T-boned, you know, it was crazy. And here you go, 2 years later, that fish is T-boning a Leo Mag Mojo out on the middle of Pymatuning Reservoir. So it was kind of a moment for me. It might sound stupid to some of you guys, but that thing, that's special to me. That's one of those things that I hold on to. I love that stuff. I really wouldn't have made that memory if it hadn't been for Doug and Joel, you know, cutting across that section of the lake, and just the fish just was high and it ate. So, you know, we got 2 fish in 2 days. We probably lost like 7 or 8 or maybe even 9 fish. Not necessarily lost, but we had the rips. Man, I was just thinking, you know, I just want one more day. I just want one more shot at this thing, because I know we lost a couple of really good fish. Doug sends me a message on Monday. Hey, you know, got an opening on Saturday. What do you think? We talked. Let's roll. Let's do this thing. I'll be back up with the cameras, and we went for it. You know, the opportunity to get out again with these guys, fish with Joel and Doug, you know, it is completely worth it. And it just is one of those things that's like, let's go. Let's just roll. Let's do this. Let's try to get a bigger fish on camera. Roll up to Pymatuning on Saturday, and you know what? It was like, I looked at the lake and I'm thinking, oh man, it's going to be another tough day. We got rain coming in all day. We got wind. You know, the lake was kind of really flat when I drove past it early in the morning. You know, that wind kind of kicks up, and here we go. There was one thing I noticed. We got over to the launch and we got out onto the water, and I don't know, things just felt different. You know, things just felt right. They felt good. And I was getting all kinds of confidence from Doug and from Joel, and it just, I don't know, man, it just felt good. And we got out on the water and we're trolling. You know, we spent 10 hours out on the water, and I can tell you, it's never not a grind. But as we're cutting across the lake, you know, at some point here, this was probably like late morning, I would say. We're cutting across the lake. We're working, you know, structure for Pymatuning, and roll that clip.
I got some in the corner. Let's see if I got my one too. Come on. There you go. Turn to the one side. Come over here. There you go. Get over here. You can bring it up now. Put that rod up there. There you go. Yeah, ready?
Yep. Nice.
Black perch. My man.
All right, guys, so we got a pretty decently fat little muskie in the bag there, and that really pressures off at that point. We got a fish in the bag. In my opinion, it's like, all right, get back. You know, I'm just watching Doug and Joel get back to basics here, and they are moving around the boat. They are working their tails off again, and I'm just like in awe the whole time of how they're communicating. You know, where they're running their baits, how they're running their baits. You know, they're working together cohesively as a team trying to get this thing done. And, you know, we knew we wanted a good fish. Enter Wiley 8-inch Musky King Fire Tiger. Joel pulls it out and he sends it. So we're trolling. You know, they're working areas that they know hold fish and big fish. And all of a sudden, here we go. Roll that clip.
Fish.
Go, Ryan. You can tighten it, right?
Okay, yeah.
Stay down, you bastard.
Keep tension on it if you can.
It's just pulling line, dude.
Hey, Joel, slow down. It's pulling a lot of line. Heavy hand. We're good. Yeah, I like that.
This is a good fish. Yeah, I will. I will. I'm just trying to. stay down. I don't want to look. 26. He's right there.
Oh, that's a good fish.
It's a good fish.
Shit, we got them other lines, dude. That's all right, boy.
Oh, dude.
Stay on him. Where's he at? Where's he at? All right, I'll get him over here if I got you.
Oh.
Ready? Bring him pretty hard. Ready? Got him, hard.
Yeah!
Thanks, dude.
Yeah!
Nice!
Yeah!
Look at what it's on! 8-inch Wiley.
Yeah!
Nice.
Dude.
I knew when it was fighting.
Yeah! Oh my god. Dude, that thing is so fat. I don't know how long he is, but he is fat as. Yeah, I'm gonna work my way this way.
Make it a little bit straighter here and try to get.
You guys can hear it in the celebration. You know, that was a moment that I'm going to remember for a very, very long time. We had the opportunity to bag what I consider a very, very solid Pymatuning Muskie. Now, that fish was fat and it had just absolutely beautiful colors on it. It ate the Wiley and we got her in, you know, and it was like this giant sense of relief, like, holy crap, that fish just hit the bag. So, you know, this was extremely special to me because that fish rivaled my personal best fish, who I caught with Todd Young, Muddy Creek Fishing Guides up on Chautauqua. And to have that fish rival that one was, again, it was super special because it's a PA fish. You know, I want to catch big fish in Pennsylvania. There is potential for that. And that particular fish on Pymatuning, my favorite lake in the state, unbelievable experience. You know, and again, I would not have had that opportunity if it wasn't for experienced guys like Doug and Joel. And for that matter, Jesse, Adam, and Dave. Again, you guys are all working as a cohesive team here. You're sharing information, you're helping each other out. And it's just one of those things where it was such a special moment for that fish to hit the bag. We let out our celebration, and man, we got our pictures, we got her back. She went back beautifully, swam straight down, and, you know, we sent her back home. So what a great feeling, you know, after having tough conditions, you know, again, cold fronts and rain and things like that. And what an absolute confidence boost to yours truly, to know that if you work the right areas and you continue to pound areas and you work it until something eats and you have the confidence in your baits, like all of this stuff, it was a killer experience for me moving forward as a musky fisherman. But you know what? The other thing that I found really interesting was we released that fish. I was super pumped. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need another fish the rest of the day. Doug and Joel were not satisfied. Doug and Joel wanted another big one. They wanted another fish over 40 inches for the boat. Two fish over 40 inches in one day. I feel like they're trying to give me a heart attack. That doesn't happen to me ever. Forget about very often, ever. It's never happened. Never caught two 40-inch class fish in the same day. Been close. 44 and a 39. Never two 40-inch class fish. So here we go. Keep trolling. Keep trolling. They keep working hard, switching baits. And guys, meanwhile, you know, all of this time that I'm spending on the water with them, I am absolutely drilling them with questions. You know, I'm asking them about bait selection. You know, Leo Mags right here. You know, what are you doing? Where are you running these things? All this stuff. You know, water depths and structure points and everything you could possibly ask about a lake and about musky fishing, I am asking, and they are answering every single question honestly, and I am seeing that translate as into what they're doing on the water. So keep that in mind. Not only did we get a really decent fish, number one, but then a very, very good fish, number two. I'm getting all of this information. You know, I'm collecting this. Now I can take that and go out onto the water. So with that said, we're grinding. You know, the day is kind of we're starting to lose light here. We're heading back to the ramp that we launched out of. And there's one more spot. One more really, really good spot. And we're coming up on that spot. I look at Joel. You know, Doug was on the phone wrapping things up. Look at Joel and I say, hey, should we pull rods? Yeah, I guess we could do that. I get up, and you can see me do this in the footage. It was like the longest lingering of not wanting to pull a rod out of the water. Joel walks over to the left side of the boat, pulls a board rod. I go over to grab another rod, and next thing you know, roll that clip.
You want to take it? You want to take it? Oh, this is another good fish.
Joel, can you get that in neutral? Or is it? You alright? Yeah, that's neutral. Dude, that's 2 hits in how long?
I don't know. It just turned on, but this is another good fish. We were just about to clear the rods.
Yeah. Oh, it's way over that side, huh?
Yeah.
Want to get up on it now? Those guys are on you guys. Stay up on it heavy. Stay heavy on it, you alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
Turn right, Joel, right. You can. Let's put it there. You have to put it there.
Oh, don't do that. I'm trying to keep it down, dude, but it's... No.
Gotta get this one more.
Get him, big boy again! Yeah!
Big boy! Yes! Ryan Reed, the Muskie Slayer.
Holy crap.
Dude, that's another goodie. Dude! Bang! It's gonna be close to that same range. A little shorter, maybe, but
Holy fuck.
dude, we just had 2 hits in what, 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Not even.
5 minutes.
I was on the phone and I hung up over here. Get out of here, buddy.
Wow. Buzzer beater muskie on Pymatuning. Unfreaking believable. Fish number 2 over 40 inches. That one went about 43, we'll say 42, 43 inch fish on the bump, and boy was she fat. That was a fat fish, and it, honestly, I was in shock at that point. I had my parachute frog togs on. I'm getting ready to pull rods, load my stuff in the car, and make the 2.5 hour trip home. Rod goes off, we get the fish in the bag. It's another beautiful fish. Unbelievable experience. I can't even tell you guys how awesome the day ended with that fish. It was on a Ziggy, you know, Joel pulling out the Ziggy and getting her done. So just what an incredible day on the water. You know, 3 fish in the bag. We actually lost a small fish right before that last big one ate. Like, it was like 2-3 minutes. The rod went off, fish got off, dropped the bait back down. And you guys could see it on that clip. Joel had one rod in his hand with the board. He grabbed the other rod and was trying to get the fish, couldn't get out. I mean, it was a complete... I didn't realize what was going on at the time. I was standing there in shock because another clicker went off. Next thing I know, Doug flies into the scene, grabs the rod, gets everything situated, Joel gets situated, and we start fighting the fish. Unbelievable end to an unbelievable day. I couldn't even fathom it. You know, we had a really, really fat little fish initially, and then we end with a 45 and a 43. I mean, I couldn't have been any more ecstatic. So guys, that was the trip. You know, 3 full days on Pymatuning with Bang & Bottom. These guys were absolutely on fish, dealing with tough conditions, you know, cold fronts and rain, and, you know, just to the whole Bang & Bottom crew, you guys are outstanding fishermen. You guys know how to get it done. You know absolutely how to manage clients and how to coach. I mean, it just unbelievable experience with you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough. All right, Yins, guys, I just want to recap this whole thing. You know, again, what an awesome opportunity this was for me to get out and fish with these guys. Just such an awesome time, you know, out there on the water, fishing, learning as much as I can about this lake and these fish from just super experienced fishermen. Just such a cool thing to be able to do in our local area. You know, I just want to, again, you know, thank everybody for everything that they did for me, you know, over the course of those 3 days. Send a huge thank you out to Jesse and to Jamie. You know, thank you guys for letting me stay at camp with you guys. Thanks for the food. Just awesome, awesome food that we had, and just, you know, having a few drinks and just kind of staying up and talking fishing. So again, thank you to Doug and Joel and Jesse and Adam and Dave. Thank you guys so much for all of your hard work and your effort. You know, you guys are just amazing fishermen. You work together so cohesively. It's just really impressive. And, you know, thank you guys for that level of effort, you know, to give me that opportunity to reel in those fish and really hold those fish. You know, those moments are just super special, and you got to hang on to them. So I'm super thankful to you guys for that level of effort and everything you guys did. And really, you know, thanks to just, again, the entire Bang & Bottom family, you know, everybody that was there hanging out and, you know, just kind of welcomed me with open arms, you know, for that weekend. And it was just a really fun thing to be able to do. So shout out to you guys. You guys are stellar human beings. I'm super pumped to do it again. So again, thank you guys very much. So I guess bottom line is Bang & Bottom, right? If you guys need a local guide service for Pymatuning, maybe even Lake Arthur, they might do that. You know, give these guys a look. Give them a fair shake. You know, Doug's doing a crazy good job on the boat. They're just putting tons of fish in the boat this year. Last year, they put a ton of fish in the boat. It's like over 200 some fish. You know, just awesome, awesome job that they're doing. If you guys are interested, go out to Instagram, check out Bang & Bottom, you know, reach out to Doug, reach out to Jesse, book your trips, you know, and just get out there on the water and learn as much as you can with these guys. All right, hopefully you guys liked this crazy long video. I am going to upload just the footage from the trip as a separate video, but you guys know I like to talk a lot, and I like to just share the experiences I have and really just highlight excellent people like Bang & Bottom and the entire crew. So if you guys like this video, hit that like button for me. If you guys like this content overall, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you that have been supporting me through the last 3 or 4 years. You guys are just absolutely awesome. And one last thank you. You know, thank you to Mr. Todd Leopardi right there. Leo Lures, thank you for making amazing products that catch tons and tons and tons of fish. The Mag Mojos, the regular Mojos, the Shaylas, your jerk baits, everything you do is amazing. I love your paint jobs. Little copper perch for you. You know, these are all things, you know, locally made in Pennsylvania. I'm loving it. You know, fishing PA. Fishing PA baits, fishing PA water. So, all right, guys, I guess we'll just, we'll call this one here. It's late. I'm exhausted. I don't even know if I made sense over the last hour. But hey, get out there and do some fishing. Check out Bang and Bottom. You won't be disappointed. Guaranteed. 100%. All right, yins, guys. For now, we'll just say tight lines. We will see yins next time.